Are you happy down there, Marno? Huh? How's your little nose? Okay? Oh, I know. He'll be alright. He's got a little bit of an infection on his nose at the moment, so we're just treating it with some antiseptic cream. But he's found a little space to grow. So we're growing cats in clay pots. Well, it is mid-September and that means it's officially autumn. So I thought we would do a little end of season tour. Now today is a very good day because it has finally rained, and over in the UK and we've had a really dry summer, so I've been watching the weather reports for weeks and it looks like we're going to have rain all this week, which is really good. A perfect time to pot out those winter vegetables into your garden as well, because they're going to get well watered, so I've been doing that today as well. Now I've had to sacrifice my garden a little bit this year because of my job and to earn money, so that when we move to the homestead we can really hit it properly when we go to the farm up in Suffolk. So bear with me as we go around the garden. I'm not particularly proud of it at the moment. It looks a bit of a mess. It's a bit empty in places, a bit patchy, but I wanted to show you kind of the general layout of how things are and also talk about a few things that I've definitely done wrong. So as we go through the back doors, this is kind of what you come out to. This lovely flagpole here that we have Sard's Canadian flag on. As you can see, it's so wet that it's kind of wrapped around the pole. So we come out, and to the left we've got a few pot plants. This area is the only sunny bit of the garden. That's one of the issues with this garden, is that really it's very shady, and you can see there's that huge tree at the bottom, creates a lot of shade, and then obviously I chose to put the shed in the middle with the aviary, and that cuts a lot of the sun out as well. So this patch here is really the only sunny bit. So I've got my olive trees down here. I've got a few little pots of violas to give us a bit of colour, and there's a few herbs. There's some apple mint here, there's some rosemary that I'm taking cuttings off for the farm, there's this agapanthus which is really nice when it flowers, and I've also got a little hosta in a pot down here, and then this year I decided to put my dahlias in here. Now my dahlias haven't been massively great this year. This was a new one to me. I'm not a massive fan of pom-pom dahlias, but as you can see it's actually really pretty and quite big as well. I mean, there's my hand and there's the dahlia flower, so it's not bad. These are starting to go over, so I'll be cutting these off soon so all these buds come through here. This dahlia is really pretty, but as you can see the leaves have been nibbled quite extensively, and that, I think, my friends, is woodlice. Woodlice have been absolutely dire this year. They've been all over the place, so you can see there's just holes everywhere, but the flowers, oh look, the sun's just come out, the flowers are rather lovely. But before we progress too far down there, I'll back up. So as I said, to the left we've got the sunny patch, to the right we have the hutches, so we've got the rabbits. So we've got a doe in here, a buck in here, another doe in here, and then we've got the quail in here at the moment. They will be moved out and moved in somewhere else so that I can use this hutch down here as growers. So when I've weaned off babies, they'll go into here. I've got a few conifers up here. They're doing really well, looking quite pretty with a little bit of rain on them. I love a pine tree, so these are coming up to the farm. And then the only peppers that I grew this year are here. So they're just in pots. This gets quite a bit of sun, so they've just been popped here. They've been fed regularly. I do need to take the tops off from the flowers because it's too late in the season now. I need to take all of that off, so they just put the energy into the fruit, which are these lovely peppers. I think there must be a rainbow somewhere because it's raining, but the sun is out as well, so it's rather nice. This is a Japanese maple that was rescued. You can see the lack of sun, the lack of rain, has done it quite a lot of damage. I've been watering it to try and keep it alive. It was dug up with hardly any rootstock, so I'm quite impressed it is still alive. It's this lovely lime green, and it's tipped with these little red tips, which is lovely. That will be okay now. We're at the end of the season, it's about to drop its leaves anyway and go dormant for the winter, so that will be fine as long as I keep it nice and watered, nice and shady, and let those roots grow over the winter. It should come back a stronger plant next year. And then underneath they've got these lovely little New Zealand flax. I love the colour of these. This pink, pinky green, it's really, really nice. You okay there? Then we've got a couple of Alpine Troughs here. They were kind of thing. They've got a bit overgrown. This one, as you can see, I can't remember the name of this stuff, but it has basically overtaken the entire trough, with the exception of a small succulent in this corner. We've got some, this is lemon thyme, that's really, really nice. And then there's some woolly thyme here, and a few other plants. There's a big gunnera here that's going to be going to the farm with us, obviously. All the Sarracenias, you can see the amount of dryness has really affected them, and they've gone quite crispy. But again, a bit of rain, a bit of coolness over the winter, and they will come back beautifully. And obviously we're going to need to take them up, separate them all out, put them into individual pots, and again take them up to the farm with us. You'll notice around the garden there's quite a lot of pots, and that's because as I find stuff, as I find seedlings like these little euphorbias, as I've discovered plants that maybe aren't doing so well because they've been in the wrong place. These geums were in shade and they really dried out and their rootstock wasn't very good. I'm pulling them out, I'm potting them up, because again, I'm going to take these plants with me. So that's another reason why some of the borders are looking rather empty, is because if I see something that's not in the right place and it's not thriving, I'm not pulling it out, putting it somewhere else. I'm pulling it out, putting it into a pot, growing it in a pot, because we'll be taking them with us. And effectively, this is the last season, because we're going to go next spring, which means most of these things need to come out and into pots now anyway. And they are actually thriving. So this Brunera was doing terribly. These are the old leaves and it hardly had anything on it, but you can see just a week or two in a new pot, pulled out the garden, watered properly, and it's got all this new growth on it. So it is worthwhile doing that. And even if you've got plants that you've stuck into your garden and they're in the wrong place and they're not thriving, pull them out, move them. But while you're working out where to move them to, just pop them into a pot, because then you can look after them, you can nurture them, you can get a good rootstock back on that plant, and then you can decide where the best place, and you can try again. Just pull it out before you've killed it, because I haven't done that on many occasions and lost plants when I knew I should have actually pulled them out. I love the rain when it comes down on this. This is a smoke bush, and it's really, really pretty. I've taken loads of cuttings with this. I am going to try and dig it out, because it's a nice plant and I want to take it with me. The sun's in just the wrong spot now. It's giving it this weird sheen on stuff. But yeah, it's really pretty. I want to take it with me, really. So when it goes dormant this winter, I will try and dig it up and put it into a big pot. This is kind of the beds going down towards the veggie patch. Got a couple of dahlias, they've done all right. Couple of things down here, but you can see it's quite empty. There's a little, what's that, gold shats, a little juniper. It's done quite well actually. Then they're really low growing plants. I've got 3 of them, and they're quite nice. And then we continue down here to our vegetable area. Now, the main thing I will say about the vegetable area is I really put it in the wrong place. I should have waited a little bit longer when I moved in. I should have thought about tree growth, because this tree is an absolute menace. It sucks all of the moisture out of the ground, it drops all of its leaves, and it shades everything. So my greenhouse is in completely the wrong place, hardly gets any sun, gets covered in muck from the trees, and there's another big yew tree here, so it's really, really back in the wrong place. I should have put my shed there. So I've got my shed here, which is my aviary shed and where I keep my grower chickens, but actually it should have been there. And then I could have had the veg patch kind of on this side of the garden, which gets more sunlight. So the other thing is, obviously with that tree up there, is my growing beds don't also get a vast amount of light. Now that's not too bad for little things like lettuces and carrots to a degree, and radishes, but things that really need sun, so tomatoes, squashes, beans really, they just don't thrive down here at all. So you can see my beans are a bit dilapidated. I mean, I've mostly just got greens in at the moment. You can also see by the state of these, again, this is not only wood lice, but this is flea beetle. And flea beetles have been attacking with vengeance this year. They've got a lot of my broccoli, they've got a lot of my kale, so I've had to start kale again. And they don't seem to like lettuces, which is good. And I've just seen, look at that little caterpillar. Oh no! 1, 2, 3. There's quite a few here. Let's take these off. We will feed these to the chickens. Sorry dudes, the rain has showed you up, rather. They are cabbage white caterpillars. So I'm going to give those to the chickens, which takes us down to a very wet poultry yard. There you go. Are you going to eat it? Yes. There we go, so she got them all. So this is finally the poultry yard at the bottom of the garden. It's been very wet today, so you can see it's gone very muddy and gross. That water, as always, was totally fresh until the ducks got in there. And most people are hanging out in the dust bath today, just chilling, keeping clean, keeping dry. And I just can't wait to move these guys out of here as well and up to the farm where they can have pasture. It's going to be amazing. So down in the veggie area, we've got 3 raised beds. We've got another bed along here with cordon trees, so there's an apple, a plum and a pear. That's my compost heap there. My greenhouse in the wrong place, a water butt, and then the poultry area is just through there, and that's where my poultry and my ducks are. It's actually concrete floor through there. It's concrete floor, and then I throw dirt on top of it. Just soil from pots and things that they can walk around and scratch and stuff in. So obviously when I've got a lot of rain, it's nice because I can sluice it down and clean it out. So that is a whistle-stop tour of the backyard, and you can see kind of how things are laid out. And as I say, they're not laid out to the best of their ability. And also, if I came in again, I would do many more vegetable beds than flower beds. But that is just the way sort of my mantra and my gardening has developed over the past few years. But certainly when you do come into gardens, look where trees are and look where the sun goes, because I did make that mistake. And when you're in a little urban garden, there's not a vast amount you can do about it if you get it wrong initially, other than rip everything out and start over, which I really don't want to do. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, then please hit me up in the comments and I will answer them. If you've liked the video, as always, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, come across and join us at Brimwood Farm's community group. But I shall say bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.